And here we are 25 years later, the same guy that people thought did it back then is now behind bars, but they don't have a body. And there's been so much time. This is not going to be, for people there, it's like, oh, they finally got him. This is just the beginning, though. One would have to think, because we don't know exactly what it is that changed, but they haven't found her body. This is not going to be a slam dunk prosecution.
It is not. You know, Ted, this case wasn't just infamous in that particular part of the country. It was everywhere. I was in my first year of law school, and I remember this case, and I remember, and I had just graduated from a criminal justice school, one of the best in the country, and studied forensics there. And I remember thinking to myself, they couldn't find any evidence on this guy at all. And it makes you question whether or not you had the right person at the time. Now, clearly, something has changed. And I think it's important to note that whatever's occurred is fresh. It's new, because we know they obtained a search warrant from a judge to go back into the home of this young man, not young anymore. And that would have had to have been a fresh presentation. You can't go back and say, we missed something years ago and we think it might still be there. I mean, there had to have been something fresh, whether that was through a statement of one of the parties that have been accused, or maybe information from an additional witness that wasn't available at the time. I suspect that there's probably forensic evidence that in 1996 was not available to them, and through technology has become available now. Most notably, we've had some real advances in the ability to examine DNA over the last 4 years, a concept known as star mix, and that's not important. But what's important is there were hundreds, if not thousands, of cases that were never solved because of impure DNA samples, two samples combined together. And they figured out how to separate these samples. And so a lot of people over the last 4 or 5 years have been getting charged who otherwise wouldn't have been, based on the old DNA technology. So if I had to take a guess, that's what I'm going to throw my hat at. But clearly there's some new evidence associated with this case. But to your final point, this is going to be a very tough case. Unless they can prove, even if his DNA is with her, it doesn't appear that he ever made any statements that I'm aware of that nothing ever happened between them. Now, maybe that's not the case,